Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
That is breaking news coming from the state health department. Tonight, they're reporting 4 new cases of Eastern equine encephalitis. 2 of those cases have been fatal.
Dr. Frank McGeorge is following the very latest on these cases and joins us now with what we need to know.
Yeah, Karen and Devin, this is now Michigan's worst outbreak of Eastern equine encephalitis in more than a decade, and the state is urging everyone to take precautions. We now have a total of 7 confirmed human cases and a total of 3 deaths. Now, the cases have occurred in southwest Michigan, in Barry, Cass, Van Buren, Kalamazoo, and Berrien counties. Cases have also been seen in animals in St. Joseph, Genesee, and Lapeer counties. Now, tonight, the state health department is taking the additional step of encouraging officials in those 8 counties to consider postponing, rescheduling, or canceling outdoor activities that are occurring at or after dusk, particularly activities that involve children. Now, regardless of where you live, you should be wearing mosquito repellent. Remember, Eastern equine encephalitis is one of the most dangerous mosquito-borne diseases in the United States, with a fatality rate of 33% in people who become ill. Back to you.
All right, Doc.
Now to day 2 of the Detroit auto workers strike, and the back and forth is getting tougher by the minute.
Let's get you caught up on the latest developments as they stand here at the 5 p.m. hour. With workers still on the picket line, negotiations do continue here in downtown Detroit.
The big headline, General Motors pulling the lever on one of its most costly options, pushing health care costs onto the union.
Business editor Rod Maloney live downtown, and more reaction on this, Rod, because this is a real hardball move to pull in the second day of the strike.
Yeah, you know, it's no doubt now that General Motors is making it abundantly clear to everybody they want a quick end to this whole situation. Now, strikes are about leverage. The union strikes, closes all the plants, costs GM about $100 million. Well, GM wants to save some money and also have leverage of its own. So it, in fact, did push all of those health care costs, COBRA, onto the union. Here's how it started. This letter by UAW Vice President Terry Dittus to the company yesterday presumed the company would keep UAW rank and file on the company health care plan until October 1st, but asked for clarification. And it came this morning. The answer is no. Today, the GM UAW rank and file are on COBRA, the health insurance you buy when you lose your job. GM put out this statement, quote, "We understand strikes are difficult and disruptive to families. While on strike, some benefits shift to being funded by the union strike fund. And in this case, hourly employees are eligible for union-paid COBRA so their health care benefits can continue." The upshot is the union strike fund, estimated at just under $1 billion, is about to shrink quickly under the weight of expensive health care premiums.
It's a slap in the face.
It's very disrespectful.
Solidarity forever!
More disturbing to those outside the RenCen where the negotiations are taking place.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that, so this is the first time I'm hearing about that.
Robin Richardson of UAW 163 in Romulus is furious.
And then that means that they're going to make us, will try to make us, force us to accept something we don't want to accept. Yeah. And we're not willing to do that. We're out here for a fight.
Well, they're going to, under COBRA, get medical and prescription coverage, but members should understand that it does not cover vision, dental, or hearing issues. And so this is going to change the game quite a bit here. Coming up on Local 4 News at 6, we're going to be talking about new developments in the UAW scandal. All of this, a big day in the UAW. We'll have more at 6 o'clock. Reporting live downtown, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod, we'll see you then. Right now, police are continuing to investigate a very bizarre incident, a stabbing in Brighton.
This happened early this afternoon at a business near West Grand River and Main Street. Police were called after customers say a woman started stabbing people indiscriminately. Let's get to Larry Spruill. He is live at the scene. How many people were hurt here, Larry?
Good evening, Karen and Devin. We are talking about 3 people in total, 2 stabbed inside this laundromat. 1 was an attempted stabbing. Now, since our last hit at 4, the owner came and shut it down for today. I talked to one witness. She says the entire scene was just horrific.
It was a big commotion, and that lady's screams were blood-curdling.
Linda Morin tells me those screams could be heard from anywhere. She works inside this Rustic Point business here in Brighton and could not help but hear and see the commotion just feet away.
We were just standing at the counter. I was checking the lady out, and we heard someone screaming. I mean, deathly scream. So we both ran up to the door, and we saw a white Ford truck there the doors open and a lady was screaming and put it down, and we thought it was a gun, so we just locked the door.
Police say it was not a gun, but a woman inside this laundromat with a knife. Police say she stabbed 2 people inside and tried to stab a 3rd person. These are pictures of the aftermath. You can see the ambulance here on scene. Just minutes after the suspect stabbed 2 and tried to stab another, she walked out the laundromat with that knife by her side.
It was approximately that big. Maybe the blade was about that big. And she was stabbing herself. She had a sweatshirt on too. It's a hot day.
So police say 1 victim was treated here at the scene. The other one was taken to a local hospital. The suspect was arrested. We're live in Brighton tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
A woman is recovering tonight after a horrifying drug-fueled attack inside a Rochester Hills apartment. Police say the woman was partying with a female friend when she went off and started biting parts of her face and her ears. Our Coco McAvoy spoke with deputies today as the alleged attacker awaits charges.
The Oakland County Sheriff's Department is investigating a bizarre case that almost seems unreal. A woman had chunks of her face bitten off by another woman.
This is very unusual. This is one of those cases that will probably be once in a lifetime for most deputies, I believe.
Here's what happened. 2 women in their 40s who used to be neighbors met up last night. They started partying at this apartment complex where one of the women lives. Then, one of them allegedly tried to make sexual advances towards the other. The woman refused, went to bed, and then woke up to the other woman strangling her, biting her, and threatening to kill her.
The neighbors report hearing banging and crying for help from a woman.
When deputies arrived to the apartment, they also heard a woman crying for help and opened the apartment door.
They saw the 2 women covered in blood. One was laying on the floor, another one was kneeling next to her, and they're both in this dazed and confused.
A very graphic scene with a severely injured woman.
She had a partially detached ear, puncture wounds from nails, and bruising around her neck and arms.
That woman is still recovering in the hospital, and the other woman is in jail facing serious charges. And deputies say they don't know what type of drug was used at this time, and the suspect's name will not be released until she's formally charged. Back to you, Karen.
All right, thank you, Coco. The divorce between Mayor Mike Duggan and wife Mary Maher is now finalized. It was back in May Maher filed for divorce from Duggan, with the couple saying in a statement it was a painful decision. We have reached out to the mayor's office, but have not heard back.
It all comes down to this. After a month in Hollywood, the Detroit Youth Choir has one last chance to wow America to try to bring home the title on America's Got Talent. You know, all of Detroit is rooting them on, even this guy. Look at him. Spirit of Detroit, decked out in a purple DYC uniform now. And right now, we're just under 3 hours away from the choir taking the stage and singing their hearts out for us again. They've really hit it out of the park every step of the way, but tonight it's just different. It's big now. So what tricks do they have up their sleeve? Let's get back to Kimberly Gill, who is back with us again live in Hollywood. Going back to their roots, I guess, for the finale, Kim.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Devin and Karen. Good afternoon to you. We were all blown away last week with their color of choice for their uniforms, red, especially when we were all expecting purple and decked out in purple. But as you said, they're going back to their roots. They're going back to the purple, and they explain why they do that. A glimpse of the Detroit Youth Choir warming up before their final dress rehearsal on America's Got Talent. Their outfits back to their roots with a color we've all come to know so well.
It's our color. It's our color. It's our start.
It's like me being my old self and remembering all the good times in purple, and yeah.
How do you like the purple?
I love that we're matching the Spirit of Detroit statue. I don't know how we knew we were wearing purple vests, but you know, It worked.
Mr. White, what do you think about the purple?
The purple is fantastic. This is what I envision us to look like on our final day here. Yes.
9 other acts will perform tonight, but only one will take home that $1 million prize. So how are they holding up?
The nerves, for me at least, haven't kicked in yet, but probably before we go on that stage in front of all those people, they will definitely kick in.
What about your nerves?
My nerves been kicking in since like last week. So I've just been very stressful, but we've gone through it. But my nerves are they kicking in really hard. But I'm gonna get through it.
That's okay. I think it's a good sign, you know. Mr. White, what about your nerves? How you feeling tonight?
Wow, I'm on 10, actually 10 through 20. So I'm just ready to just show America again what we're about, making the statement. That's all it is, you know.
All right, guys. Well, no choir in AGT history has ever won the entire show, and there are 2 choirs that are going to be performing tonight, so fingers crossed. Coming up on the news at 6, Simon Cowell has always said that the Detroit Youth Choir picks an excellent choice in the song that they perform. So coming up, they're going to give us a pretty good hint about their performance tonight. So we look forward to seeing you guys then. We'll send it back to you in Detroit. Reporting in Hollywood, Kimberly Gill, Local 4.
I always think that's key. You see a lot of great singers that don't pick the right
That's
song
true.
at the right moment. Yeah.
Oh, Kim, you have spent a lot of time with the choir over the past month. How are they really holding up? Because you've interacted back here in Detroit, now in Hollywood. How do you feel?
Yeah, you're right. It has been a whole month, maybe a little bit longer, that we've been covering these guys. You know, Karen, they are cool, calm, and collected. Today, I thought I was going to see a little more nerves in terms of the way they answer their questions, but they are always so succinct, so on point with everything they have to say. As a over 40-year-old woman, I don't think that I could answer the questions that I ask as well as they do. So it's always, they're so impressive, and I just look forward to talking and seeing what they do tonight and talking to them afterward.
We sure do. All right, Kim, we'll see you again at 6 o'clock.
And the one thing we all need to do to help the Detroit Youth Choir is vote. Voting opens right at 8 o'clock, and we've posted a super simple guide on how to do it on clickondetroit.com.
Off and running on a busy Tuesday. Let's get over to Ben.
You may want to pull that TV out on the patio tonight to watch AGT. Beautiful evening, less humid as temperatures head to the 60s, but there is some decent heat coming for the end of summer. We'll check that out in a few minutes.
All right, Ben, also, he was not just going to sit and watch. Paul Whelan yells out from behind the glass in a Moscow courtroom to try to share his side of the story.
But first, a man charged with sexually assaulting a child inside an Ann Arbor middle school. That's next.